G'day guys, welcome to the Thunder from Down Under podcast. I'm your host Graham Solomon, and remember, if you're watching on Facebook, smash that like button, smash the heart button to make our guest that comes in each week feel welcome. And also go to the Graham Solomon Thunder from Down Under YouTube channel, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon so when we go live and the countdown starts happening, bang, you're in the Thunderdome with us and you're part of the family. So just want to quickly thank all the people that supported us last year and are back this year, 2023, massive year. We've already hit Feb, and we've got a special guest, one of my favourite guests coming in today. But just before I introduce her, thanks to the station sponsors, Big Dream Digital and Buying Houses Direct, for making this possible. And also thank you for the guys that watch live and for the people that watch the replay. Remember to be active in the chat. If you've got questions, anything you want to ask in the chat, and we can interact with you, or I can answer them later if it's a replay. All right, now we've got all the housekeeping out the way. I want to introduce my rockstar guest all the way from Knoxville, Tennessee. We've had her on as a partial expert in one of the podcasts many moons ago, but we've got her on with her own segment because we wanted to get her back on because she's fantastic. And that is Jenna Wilson. And she now is coming live from Scruffy City Title, Knoxville, Tennessee. So thanks for coming in and welcome, Jenna. It's always great to see you.
Thank you. I am so happy to be back on.
And what's happening down in Knoxville, Tennessee at the moment? It's all go. Is many properties selling? Have you noticed a shift in the market at the moment?
Slightly. Always this time of the season, it's pretty slow. Everyone starts winding down after the holidays. It's kind of like a little slight break for everyone. But I don't really think, as far as interest rates or anything like that is concerned, that's the reason it's slow. I will say wholesaling investment properties have definitely picked up right now. I'm seeing more like foreclosures and things like that coming on the market, but it's always kind of a slow time right now, but it's still going.
Still going, yeah, because Knoxville's been a really popular virtual market too, hasn't it? Like it was on
Yes.
a lot of the guys on YouTube and everything put it up right up the top. So it's been a pretty hot market, and it's probably I don't know if the locals like it because whether it brings a lot more heat to the market, but it has been a hot market. So which is good for you, good for business. And I just wanted to do one quick shout out. Now this is going off topic a little bit, but there's a college in Knoxville, isn't there? There's a big college in Knoxville. Now
Yes,
I found out that a young guy that grew up with my boys and played footy with my boys is actually there, and he's got a scholarship because he's trying out to be a punter to go for the NFL. So his name's Jackson Ross. I'm going to do a shout out, Jackson Ross. His dad, Brad Ross, great guy. We call him Brad Pitt because of his handsome, good-looking demeanour. But I just want to do a shout out to those guys crushing it in Knoxville, Tennessee. So well done, guys. And we hopefully got another Australia punter in the NFL in the next year or so. So keep an eye out for him, Jenna. Jackson Ross is his name. So he's representing Knoxville at the moment, but then hopefully he can go on to bigger and better things. Now let's get down to business. I want the people that haven't seen you before, I want you to tell your backstory, how you ended up in the title business, and how it all evolved. And now you've got your own business, so you can tell us about that. So you got the floor, Jenna. Just sort of tell us in your own words where it all started for you.
All right. So back in 2006, 7, and 8, I started back in high school. I knew I always wanted to do something with homes. So interior design was my choice because that's just what I really like to do. I love to host. I love to decorate, things like that. So after I got out of high school, I decided, okay, maybe that's not quite the market that I need to be in, because being from North Carolina, it wasn't a very, hot topic there. So 2006, I moved to Tennessee and decided I was going to get into real estate. It was really popular where I was. I was in Sevier County. So in Sevier County, you have all your cabins and rentals and things like that. So
Yep.
I actually started real estate in 2007. Did that for a couple of years, and then I realized very quickly that the bottom dropped and real estate was not going to be the best option for me because I was a single mom of 2 children. So I had to feed my kids. So the company that I was working for had a team, and they asked me if I wanted to just join their team to be basically like their admin, help them do their leads, their paperwork, and things like that. So I was like, absolutely, because I wanted to stay in real estate. So I did that for about 4 years, and then I decided that I wanted to do something else because obviously I wanted to grow. I just didn't want to be someone's assistant, but I wanted to stay in real estate, but I didn't know exactly where to go. The title company that we were using at the time had a girl there that actually wanted to get into real estate. So we sat down, all 4 of us, my boss, her boss, and then us 2, and we just swapped positions. So she joined the real estate team. I joined the title team.
Yep.
And from there it was on. I immediately fell in love with title. So I worked as a receptionist, and I didn't know a dang thing at all. So I worked as a receptionist all the way up to now finally owning my own business. It took me a while, and I've been doing title for about 10 years now. And it is absolutely the best thing I have ever done. It is definitely the greatest career, in my opinion, that anyone can have. It is something new every day. It's something that you learn every day. It's always different. It's always changing. Just to be a part of someone's life that way, because a lot of time it's their biggest investment. It could be their first. It could be their last. Sometimes it's tragedy, sometimes, it's first time home buyers. It's just all different kinds of scenarios. And just to be a part of that is absolutely amazing. So I really kicked everything off the last 5 years. Over the past 5 years, I really, really honed in on my clientele, built that to where I needed it to be. And then this great wholesaling came about. Funny enough, it's actually been around for a very, very, very long time. But it just never got really popular until like the last couple of years. So I am the only title company that I know of, maybe wrong, here in Knoxville that will do wholesale closings, assignments, investor closings. So I really, really focused in on that. And I absolutely learned everything that I could possibly do. I actually put my hands into wholesaling so that way I had a hands-on experience in exactly how it works. So that way, when I am doing the closings or going through things with people, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've done the contracts for people, amendments, anything that you possibly could need for a Tennessee market, I can absolutely help with that. So that kind of brought me into opening my own. So I don't know if a lot of people know, but New York Times? Yeah, New York Times journalist actually did a article on Scruffy City. So Knoxville was known as Scruffy City. The reason it got its name is because the journalist who did the article just said that it would never it'll make me cry. So that's how we got the name. It's very sentimental to me. So they got the name Scruffy City here in Knoxville because the journalist said it was a dirty little dingy town, that it would never make anything of itself. No one would want to go there and do business and this, that, and the other. Knoxville now is one of the prime places to be. I mean, it has blossomed. You want to go eat, you want to go out, you want to do anything. Everyone is downtown Knoxville. So my office, I can throw a rock in downtown. So that's how I got my name. So I worked really, really, really hard from where I started and how I grew up to where I am now. And that's how we got our name, because it has a tremendous backstory to me. So in September of last year is when we finally launched the title company, and we hit the ground running. So we worked, and this is crazy how we pulled it off in such a short amount of time. But from September to December, actually the end of November, we got this complete office up and running. And I mean, starting from September 22nd is when we bought the LLC up until the 1st of December. We busted butt to get this business up and running. And then December 1st, we went live. So we went live December 1st, and within us going live that first month, we did over 30 contracts in 1 month, which is basically unheard of. Usually people start out really small, but we did very, very well. And of course, now we're rolling into the new year, which we slowed down a little bit, like I said, but we're also have that good investor clientele. And so, like I said, we really specialize in that because we are the only title company here that you guys can go to get that help and that knowledge. So this is where we are.
Yeah. Well, firstly, I just want to say congratulations. Congratulations on, like you said, from where you started to where you are now, and especially on your own business. That's a huge achievement. And to be able to do it so quick, I'm sure all the investors out there and the wholesalers and that know how fast this business moves. So for you to be able to pull your office together and do 30 deals, we can only imagine, we can't imagine how much you would have been working. So great job. But that's the kind of person you are. And that's why I love to have you on, because investors and wholesalers need someone like you that's just understands how sometimes there's no time blocks. It just has to happen when it has to happen, and you get in the trenches. So I just want people to smash the heart button, because Jenna, like, she's in the trenches, and she like she said, she knows exactly about wholesaling. She knows exactly about investing. She knows what other people say, it can't be done, and she knows it can be done, and she makes it happen. She helps you with contracts. She helps you with that stuff. But the thing is, like, she's come on the podcast today, and she's been flat out working with clients all day and has still made the time to squeeze it in. So this is what I'm talking about. She's a real person, in a real business out in the trenches. And that's what I love about her. She still makes the time to come on. And I'm sure she's probably going on, looking at her watch, going, I've got appointments afterwards. I'm going to have to, but that's the type of people you need. And this is what we're going to talk about now, Jenna, is the difference between just a normal title company, a big franchise, and having a smaller company that is investor and wholesaler friendly. And that is something that a lot of people make mistakes about and blows up their deals. Do you want to just firstly explain the difference between, like, if you were working as a person for like a title company with 30 people, and if I was a wholesaler and I come to you, compared to me coming to your business, the difference in what not so much the treatment, but just the knowledge that you've got that probably other people haven't got.
All right. So first and foremost, you're probably not going to get anywhere past the phone call with other title companies, because as soon as you mention it to them, they go, we can't do that. That's illegal. Yeah. You can't do that. And that's so not true. It's not true. A lot of people do not understand how they work. They do think it's illegal right off the bat. It is not. If it was illegal, I couldn't do it. That was my number one thing with getting underwriting. And I don't think people realize that. So title companies are backed by underwriters, which are attorneys. They're the ones that give us the title insurance that protects you. So when I was opening this company, we have to send in applications. We have to interview underwriters and things like that. My number one question to every single underwriter that I interviewed was wholesaling. I explained the process to them. I told them, this is what I specialize. This is where half of my business comes from. So I have to make sure that they're on board for that, because I wasn't going to go with them if I was going to have an issue later. Yeah. Underwriters are attorneys. So if my attorneys say that it's okay and we can do it, then anybody should. So number one, it's not illegal. It can be done. Typical transaction, obviously we know it's buyer to seller. There's usually a couple of realtors involved, maybe not. Then it's straight back and forth. Wholesaling is a little bit different. As you know, you have a seller, a wholesaler, and then an end buyer. Well, like I said, with those could be a little bit tricky. A lot of people don't understand the lingo. They don't understand the paperwork. So when you call up a regular title company, especially a big franchise, you're 99% of the time going to get a receptionist on the phone who doesn't understand it, and they're just going to say no. So they don't understand. They don't take the time to understand, because these bigger corporate offices, they have their clientele, they have their business. They don't really care to invest and do something new. Me, I'm hungry. I want to grow and I want to learn as much of this business as possible. So you name it, I'm going to do it. Subject twos, we're doing now subject twos. So any kind of creative financing that you can think of, I've already looked into it. So because those options are not offered out here to anyone by any other person. So I want to be that go-to to be able to say, absolutely, we'll figure it out. We'll get it done.
Yeah.
I've heard the Morby method. I think that's how you say it. I've been studying on that. So I've already gotten to my underwriters. They've approved us to be able to do this stuff. So like I said, any kind of creative financing you can think of, we'll definitely be able to help you with that.
Just one question on the sub twos. Is it true that the sub twos actually show up as a thing on the HUD statement? There's actually a section where it says subject to or something that it's actually. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere where, it might be an urban myth, but it actually is like one of the things that's sort of printed on a HUD statement, just I think generically, which means that it can actually be done. It's not, because a lot of people think, same thing, illegal and all that sort of stuff.
No,
Yeah,
I've never had it printed on the HUD statement. I mean, owner financing, sometimes it depends on how you want to do it. But on the first page of the ALTA or the HUD statement, we can actually put like owner's financing and then put that amount in there. So that way it balances that bottom, dollar out to what the buyer needs to bring into closing. But on a subject to, there's a little bit different. And there's so many different ways that you can do a subject to. There's so many laws in Tennessee that people do not know. Some that I am now learning about leasing the property out instead of actually taking over that mortgage, because you can lease it out for 3 years and not have to actually record a deed of trust or a warranty deed. There's just so many different ways. It's crazy. So, and there's so many different ways, like with me on those HUD statements, that I can do it to where, and that's another thing. So on the HUD statements, I never disclose to the seller or basically it pretty much contains to the seller. I always do separate ALTAs and separate HUDs. So that way, that seller has no idea in the end what that end buyer is paying. So it really protects my wholesalers, investors, whatever you want to call them, because a lot of times we don't disclose typically what that markup price is. So the seller only cares about what you're giving them, essentially. If they're happy with their number, they don't need to know on the back end what you're going to sell it for or resell it for. So in the end, your buyer will have their HUD with their full price. The seller will have theirs. And that is another thing that we really, really, really hone in on, is not disclosing to sellers or to buyers. My protected interest is with you guys. So, and I know that. So if people start calling up and they're like this, that, and the other, I always make sure that I call you guys first. And I said, hey, this is what's going on. And I let you handle that. Now, if that's something that you want me to step in and take care of, I can. But I am so discreet with every party when I need to be. Other people are not. If they have someone call them up, they will tell all immediately. And I have saw so many deals completely crash and burn because of that, when it didn't need to happen.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. That's the difference is you get passed around the office that someone's going on holiday and then someone is no longer with us, and you get all that, and then people just say stuff that they should not even be saying. It's like, what are you telling the client? And they're not discreet, like what you said, because this, that there's certain things that should be disclosed and there's certain things that it's not anyone else's business. And it's that's the difference. And I just, people will be saying, well, how do I find someone like that? Because most of the big companies deal with on-market realtors and that's fine. And like you said, you deal with more wholesalers, investors. That's a big part of your market. And I'll just tell you how I found you. And then I've handballed you across to a couple of people, Warren C. from Australia, Kendra. I think Kendra, you're still friends with Kendra, and a few other people. Now, I found you. I just went, and this is well known. I mean, it's not a secret. Everyone does it. But you go into a Facebook group and you say, I'm looking for a wholesaler / investor friendly title company in Knoxville, Tennessee. Has anyone got one? And then and I know the people that replied, and there was, say, 6 replies with your name and 2 with someone else. And I thought, well, that's a good sign. And I saw that these were local guys that you see everywhere in Knoxville. They're the
Mhm.
big wholesalers. They're your clients.
Yeah.
And they've just said, oh, you've got to go with Jenna. And then I rang you up, and this is a big thing. When you speak to someone from title, like you said, first, hopefully you get through to the person, because if you get the
Yeah.
secretary and the receptionist, that's not a great sign at all, because it's a gatekeeper. But
Yeah.
I spoke to you, and I knew within 20 seconds that you were on the ball, because just your proactiveness and just, explaining about contracts. What contracts have you got, Graham? What do you got? This, that, and the other. So that's how you find a good title person. Now, if you've got to ring, maybe there's 4 on the list that are, good, but you ring and you just know when you talk to someone about how their language they use. And that. And I think that's because you understand wholesaling as well, that you were able to talk that language. And the referrals from the local people that are the biggest in the market in Knoxville, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a no-brainer. So is there anything else I've missed, Jenna? Like, that's pretty much the best way to find a good title person,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And I would say, when you're vetting these people, ask them about contracts. Ask them, do they help you? And because that's another thing, is a lot of title companies, they will not get into things like that. They won't help with amendments, addendums, and contracts and earnest money and things like that. But I will. Because number one, it protects me, it protects you guys and your property and your investments. Because a lot of my guys will bring contracts over that are from different states and things like that. It may not pertain to Tennessee. It may not pertain to Tennessee law. So that's where I can step in and say, hey, send me your contract. Let me review it. I'll send you mine. You can use mine or we can tweak yours. Doesn't matter. And then we can go from there. And I will always take the time to sit and answer any questions that you have. And another thing is, every post, every Facebook, Instagram, anything that's out there, it has my personal cell phone number on it. You will not get you can get the office phone number if you would like, but everyone always has my cell phone number, so that way you can call me directly. Clients have it, buyers, sellers, realtors, lenders, everyone. Everyone has my cell phone, and they can call me at any time. Nights, weekends, doesn't matter. I'm always here to help.
Yeah. That's another massive, that's a thunderbolt, as we call it. That's huge, because I know, I remember after being caught out once, I Googled on YouTube, like a lot of people that I followed. I think it was Rick Ginn actually does a really good video on it. And there's a couple other people. And that was the number one thing. He goes, if I can't get the person's cell phone, not that I'm going to ring them Sunday while they're at church or at a barbecue with the kids or at a football game, but if I can't text them and say, look, I'm in a bit of trouble here, when can you get back to me? And someone says, oh, Tuesday, or he goes, if I haven't got that, I'm out. I won't deal with them, because if I get passed around the office, he goes through experience, it blows up. So that's what you're talking about. You put your money where your mouth is. You put your phone number out there. You say to people, hey, unless it's like I'm in the middle of a wedding, or I'm at a 50th birthday or something, I mean, but generally you'll get back to them. So that's massive. That is probably one of the key points, is your and you said it earlier, your communication is really good. That's one of your strong points, is you will communicate you'll go back to the wholesaler, you'll go back to the buyer, and you'll be discreet and you'll communicate. And that's probably, in wholesaling, one of the most important things. If you're a good communicator and you keep people in the loop, you're going to have more success. So yeah, thanks for sharing those. They're real, thunderbolts, because these are the things that, sometimes for someone that's new, it's too late. You've blown up the deal, and then you find out that you've got to do this. So these are the key points that I wanted to hit for people, because, sometimes even if you go to another state and you're experienced, you can still rush over that and end up with the wrong person, and it can drag the deal out. So that's awesome. Now, you talk about sort of, like integrity as well. You've looked at, you've got attorneys, you've got underwriting and all that. That's very important too, isn't it? You've got to make sure that your title person has ticked all the boxes. You said about contracts, all that sort of stuff. Is there any other stuff that you do that you sort of think maybe other people don't do when they're dealing with wholesalers and investors?
I mean, I just think that they don't give them the time. And I think that's the biggest miscommunication with everything, is they don't listen to what they're necessarily needing. And if I think that they did, they would have it. And like you said earlier, the communication to me is what really set us apart. And that's actually how I got a lot of my business, is because I wanted it to be different, because I worked at 4 different title companies before I, did my own. And communication was the number one issue. Was, again, they're passed around in the office with several people. No one knows what the other girl did. She's on vacation, she's out, she's at lunch, and they just can never get an answer. And if they didn't want to take a phone call, they would just be like, well, tell them I'm out to lunch. So with you getting my cell phone number, you can call, text, Facebook me anytime that you want. So I just think communication is just a really, really, really big, game changer when it comes to all this. And then, like I said, there's just the understanding of what wholesaling is, what a double closing is versus an assignment. Because I do have a lot of guys that will call me up and said, hey, they have an assignment contract and they want to do. But as they start talking, they're really talking about a double closing. So then I can teach them, like, hey, this is the difference. So actually, this is not what you're doing. You're actually wanting to do this. And then they're like, oh my gosh. So then I can go in and say, hey, in a true double closing, you'll have to close it in your name and then sell it out of your name to your end buyer. But an assignment skips you. That way you don't pay anything. You don't pay taxes on it. You don't have to report it. And then they're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. But a lot of people will not take the time to explain those differences. When they get the contracts, they're like, okay, cool, we're going to run it. And that's exactly how we're going to do it. For me, I look at it and I'm like, okay, so I know it's this way. How about doing it a different way to save my investors and wholesalers time and money? Why not? That's kind of going above and beyond what anybody else would do. Most people are just a 9-to-5 worker. They're there just to do their job and then they go home. They don't care. Yeah. I care. So I will always have their best interest at heart. Always. Because I would want this same thing if I was in that position.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just, it's so valuable. Anyone that's had trouble in title before would just be going, oh, yes, rock and roll. This is the way to go. And that's what I mean. And that's why I you're few and far between that actually think about the wholesaler as their client rather than someone that's on the other end. It always seems to be about someone on the other end. And it's really good because it's actually, giving the investor and the wholesaler a real team member that they can trust and that. And that's what I was going to ask you next, Jenna. Like, you're in the market too. Like, people all through the market. So you make contact with Jenna and you build a relationship with Jenna in Knoxville, Tennessee. She actually knows contractors. She knows if you need an attorney, she just knows everyone. So she knows the other wholesalers. If you get stuck and you say, look, one of the wholesalers might have a buyer that's looking for what you've got and you can JV. So this is why you've got to find someone that isn't just clocking in and clocking out 9 to 5. They're in the community, and it's invaluable. It's you could ring Jenna and say, hey, Jenna, look, I know this isn't your problem, but do you know any contractors? Yeah, here's a list of ones that all my other guys use. Or ring this wholesaler and he's got 5.
Yep.
So it's brilliant, and it's really good for the local community too, because it's bringing business in, to the local community.
Absolutely.
It engages other businesses. So, no, that's awesome, Jenna. The other thing I was going to ask you is, this is more like from a foreigner and that. Give us a bit of a like you said, Knoxville's really improved and it's become a bit of a buzz city now. I mean, Nashville's always been the place everyone goes to Nashville. It's been the sexy place to go. But tell us a bit more about Knoxville for people that are out of state. Because why it's so popular now.
Knoxville's a great area. I mean, it's coming up. It's great. Obviously, we have football. We have the Vols. Go Vols. Everyone loves the Vols. If you don't, then leave. But Knoxville is great. I mean, the downtown life is absolutely amazing. The historical sites around here is great. We have the UT Gardens. And then, like you said, a lot of the bigger areas that are up and coming are those historical homes and things like that. You do have some areas that are kind of being built up. That's where all these wholesalers are coming into play. Yeah. But I mean, downtown Knoxville, you've got everything that you can think of, every restaurant, every bar. You've got all the nightlife down there. It's really cool. We've got, shoot, you put me on the spot.
Well, what about see, on your Facebook page, your waters, you got your water skiing and
Oh
so there's
yeah,
plenty of stuff like
right.
outdoor. You got the lake, the mountains, and all that. Because I hear, because when I come over to the States, I want to come down there because I hear that you've got the best mountain ranges. I think is it on the
Yeah,
border, and I hear a lot about Tennessee. I hear, especially
yeah.
southeast Tennessee, that it's a beautiful place, especially if
We'll
you're a
just go to like East Tennessee. So outside of Knoxville, you can go to Sevier County. So Sevier County, you have Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. Pigeon Forge is literally like the Myrtle Beach strip, or Panama City.
yeah,
Everything that you can think of, every attraction they have up there. And then on further, you've got Gatlinburg. And then Gatlinburg, of course, is skiing, snowboarding, ice skating, all the fun stuff. Then you can come visit me and I will take you to the lake because I am a lake girl. So
yeah,
I am out on Norris Lake. That is where I'm at on the weekends. So half the time when you do call, if you hear a lot of wind, that's why. It's because I'm on the boat and I'm surfing.
yeah. No, that's what I thought. Like lifestyle, Tennessee has got a great reputation. I mean, look, obviously
Yeah.
you've got Nashville for the country music, and there's
Yep.
other Memphis and all these different places, but it's the whole state of Knoxville is
Yeah.
popular. It's not just like even Memphis at the moment is booming at the moment. People have started going there, and regenerated there. So, and you can do all you're registered to do anything in the state of Tennessee, aren't you? So you can do
Yes.
Nashville, Memphis. So if people want someone that they know that is
Yep.
spot on for wholesaling, and that it doesn't matter whether they're deals in Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, wherever,
Correct.
you can do it within the state.
Yes, because you do not need to be local to do these. And any buyers and sellers, we can use mobile notaries. And if they are cash buyers, they don't have to wet sign anything. They can do everything electronically.
Yep.
The sellers still have to sign the original warranty deed. That still has to be wet signed. But other than that, we can do mobile notaries and arrange everything to come straight to them. They don't even have to leave their house if they don't want to. So we can arrange everything to make it as simple as possible. And that's another thing. Some of my younger wholesalers, unfortunately, they did everything snail mail because they would mail their contracts out and then mail it back. I can DocuSign all of those things for you guys. So if you need anything signed, you need it done in a hurry, you can always email it to me. I can upload it, send it out to people. That way we can get it right back. So there's a lot of cool things that I have. I will touch on one thing. There is a little bit of a difference that now I can offer. Haven't really disclosed this, but here we go. So with my underwriters, we have multiple different programs that we can access. So surveys, for example, surveys around here are months long. So I contacted my underwriter the other day and was like, hey, I have a friend that needs a survey done. They could get it done less than 3 days, which is mind blowing. So I have back end help. I also have access to list. So we're starting to work on those with the underwriters. So properties that are going into foreclosure, auction properties, tax sale properties, properties that have back taxes, liens on them, but aren't going up for sales yet. I now have access to those lists, which means you guys now have access to those. So you can find properties easier without having to do a bunch of legwork. Like you touched on earlier,
Yeah.
I am very, very, very knowledgeable in this business, and I have a lot of clients. I also have buyers list. If you're stuck, if you need help, reach out to me. I have enough people that I can help with you and with that to get you that buyer. Or if you're new and you're uncertain about the area and you're looking at a property, but you're not for sure if you can sell that deal, give me a call. I can always hook you guys up with someone that is in the area to help you.
Yeah.
So always reach out and ask. Even if you think it's a dumb question, I'd rather you contact me and ask me than to make a mistake to potentially lose something. Like I said, I am always here to help. And if you think of something that I could get, I can definitely reach out and try. But
Hang on a sec, Jenna. Warren,
yeah.
Warren C. Okay, no worries. I'll tell her. Okay, bye. Warren's just rang up and said, "Dude, edit that out of the thing. He wants you to send all those lists straight to him, and and cut it out of the podcast." And I'm live. Sorry, Warren C. He's like, "What you doing? Give me the list." So all your wholesalers. If you send this video, like I'll send you the YouTube video, you send it to all your wholesalers, they'll be freaking out, going, "Jenna, stop it. We want it." But no, that's great. It's just something that other people just don't do. They just don't do it. I
Yeah.
mean,
No, they're
wholesalers
not.
have to really chase people to get sort of that information. So
Yep.
once again, and I'd love to see you, Jenna. Like I'd love to see a lot of people who are working in Memphis, Nashville, Clarksville, Chattanooga, all of sort of the next biggest cities. Start using you, because then you can build contacts in those cities as well and lists and all that.
Yeah.
It's just something like, it's very hard. I've done stuff in other states, and it's very hard to find someone like yourself that is so wired and so in tune with a wholesaler investor. So, anyone that watches this that's from Tennessee, really, you've got to use Jenna, and just for that reason. And once you get to know her and the service and everything, you'll ring me up and thank me, because she's amazing. And no, I really love it, Jenna. I really appreciate your time. I'll let you go, because we're sort of getting it just a bit over 35 minutes. I know you're busy, but let's get you on. We'll go through your contact details quickly before we go, but I just wanted to get you on just to overview all that sort of stuff, so people know what to look for when they're going for a title cut. If they've got to go out of state, what to, and like you said, you'd be the sort of person that would, if someone rang you and said, "Look, Jenna, I saw you on, Thunder from Down Under podcast. I'm in Tennessee, but I'm doing a few virtual things in Ohio." You'd actually tell them what to look for. We'll just look for this,
Mm-hmm.
this. A quick 5-minute call. So Jenna is the one to go through, in Tennessee, and we're just gonna. So your contact details. I've just got your obviously your website up there, which is www.scruffycitytitle.com. So that's your website. That's people can probably hit you there, which then you've got your contact details on there, haven't you? So they can reach out to you from there.
So hold the thought on the website. So the website is actually down right now because it's getting revamped. So you won't be able to get me there. So the best way to get to me right now is obviously my cell phone. So that is 865-661-5823. Or you can always find me on Facebook. It's Jenna Wilson. We have that up. Or you can look up Scruffy City Title. It'll pop right up.
Yep.
My email address is really easy. It's Jenna@scruffycitytitle.com.
Yep, I've got that there as well on the screen. So anyone go back to that one on the screen. Once again, it's not hard. Just use Scruffy City Title, and it'll come up in Google or whatever. So now, awesome. I'm excited for your 2023, and the business and how many wholesalers you're helping down there, and the virtual guys as well. So, like Warren's from Australia, like he swears by, and he like you said, he uses the notaries and all that sort of stuff. So, and you've helped him out hugely. He's a big rap. So everyone, smash the like button, smash the love button, and show your appreciation for Jenna. And any questions, even if you're watching the replay, just chuck them in the chat and in the comments, and I can fill them in or reach out to Jenna. And once again, Jenna, thank you for coming in. And as we always, if there's anything you'd like to say before you go, or just give the thumbs up or wave, it's always a pleasure to have you in. And keep serving, firstly Knoxville, and hopefully the wider community of Tennessee in the future. When I get out there, hopefully sometime this year, I'll come out to the lake and go water skiing. I don't know how I'll go. I'm getting a bit old and rusty now, but I'll have a go.
You'll be fine.
All right. So, guys, we'll check out, say goodbye, and thanks to Jennifer from Scruffy City Title in Knoxville. You have been thunderstruck. All right, guys. See you later.
See ya.
Sorry.